I found the bleach smell before I saw the damage. My blazer hung from the bedroom door where I'd left it after pressing it that afternoon. The interview invitation sat beside my notebook, every document checked twice. I had imagined the next morning for months. Instead, pale streaks spread across the dark fabric like frost. For a few seconds, I simply stared. Then I touched the sleeve, hoping it was some strange trick of the light. It wasn't. My younger sister stood in the hallway holding a laundry basket. She looked at the jacket, then at me. I thought it was an old one. She didn't sound convinced by her own explanation. I called for my parents. My mother sighed before she reached the room. My father barely looked up from his phone. "It's just a jacket," he said. "It isn't just a jacket, it's the only blazer I own. My interview is tomorrow morning." My sister crossed her arms. "You're making such a scene." My mother nodded toward the closet. "Wear something else. There isn't anything else." Silence settled for a moment. Finally, my father shrugged. "If you're really medical school material, one jacket won't matter." That sentence stayed with me longer than the bleach smell. I searched every thrift store that was still open. Nothing fit. One shop owner apologized because they had closed out formal wear for the season. Near midnight, I stood over the sink, with fabric dye, cold water, and impossible optimism. The stains faded at the edges but never disappeared. By sunrise, the blazer looked worse. I almost stayed home. Instead, I ironed it carefully. If I was going to fail, it wouldn't be because I had quit before walking through the door. The admissions building felt impossibly clean. Other applicants wore crisp suits and polished shoes. I caught one person glance at my jacket before politely looking away. I couldn't blame them. When my name was called, my heartbeat became louder than my footsteps. The dean greeted me with a professional smile. We shook hands. As I sat down, his eyes drifted briefly to the pale marks across my shoulder. There was no judgment in his expression, only curiosity. He looked at the file in front of him, then back at me, his eyebrows lifted. "Wait," he said quietly. He looked once more at my application. "You're her?" For a second, I had no idea what he meant. "My mentor," he explained, "Dr. Elena Hassan. She supervised me during residency years ago." My stomach tightened. "She's my aunt." His expression softened. I wondered if there was a connection. The last name caught my attention. He paused before continuing. "I also know she values perseverance more than perfect appearances." I glanced down at the ruined blazer. "I wish this looked different." "I'm sure you do." There was enough silence for me to decide whether to invent a convenient story. Instead, I answered honestly. "It was damaged last night. I couldn't replace it. I almost didn't come." He nodded. "I'm glad you came," and that was the last time anyone mentioned the jacket. For the next hour, he asked about patients I'd volunteered with, research projects, difficult ethical situations, and why medicine mattered to me beyond prestige. The conversation became the interview I had prepared for, not the one I had feared. 2 weeks later, an acceptance email arrived. I read it 3 times before believing it. When my parents found out, they acted as though success belonged to the whole family. My sister even laughed nervously. Guess the jacket didn't matter after all. I looked at the folded blazer resting in the back of my closet. "It mattered," I said, "not because of the bleach, because it showed me something I had spent years refusing to see. Support isn't measured by what people celebrate after you succeed. It's measured by who helps you before anyone knows whether you will." I kept the blazer, not as proof that I overcame sabotage, as a reminder that dignity sometimes means walking into the room exactly as life has left you, prepared, imperfect, and unwilling to turn back.